Here we're holding in the Hakdam of Vayom Moshe, page Yud Gimel, in the paragraph starting V'hinei. But we're not in the beginning of the paragraph, we're like 5 lines down. Uvenido and Didan, in the subject that we're talking about here, about Zionism, Afshe Ruba de Alma, even though the vast majority of the Jewish people, Nitpasim Bereshes Zu, they've been caught in this net that the Zionists set up for them, those heretics, those who cause the public to sin. And for those kind of people, nothing will help. Even if I prove it more than the midday sun, as clear as the sun, they're not going to listen. And on the contrary, there's as far to say that it's worse to give them musr, because the more you tell them, the more arguments about Zionism you tell them, the more they'll come up with counter arguments. And there'll be a kasher who wrote a whole Tkufa Gedola book, and all these kind of books that are written to Shlug by Yom Moshe. The more you tell them, the more of a Talmid Chacham they'll become to slug you up. Yeah. Like the Gemara in Sanhedrin Lamed Chesem Abeis, the Gemara says that it says, "Have a Zohar Lilmoy Torah v'da Masha Tashiv Lapikoros." Know what to answer Apikoros. So the Gemara says, Rabbi Yochanan, Hani Mili Apikoros Akum. That's only a non-Jewish Apikoros, because a non-Jewish Apikoros is someone who doesn't really care whether you're right or the Apikosim are right. He's just trying to bring rise to the Apikosim from the Torah as much as he knows, but he doesn't know very much. So you can answer him and he'll accept it. Mashenkin the Yid, a Jewish Apikoros, it says Kol Shekain Depakra Tvei. You're not allowed to answer him because he'll just become worse. Why? Because he already learned Torah and he already knows the arguments to his opinions. So if you tell him yours, then he'll just come up with more arguments to slug you up. Good, sir. So that's for most people here. Ulam l'uma zois. However, there are some people that it would help for. Gamze bar bilti shum safik. It's clear without a doubt. Shadayin nimsaim b'Yisrael tmimei derech. There are some honest, sincere people in the Jewish people today that they will accept the rebuke. V'nichnas bilvavam davar emes. And a true word will enter their hearts. If you tell them something that will enlighten their eyes, it will help for them. Even though there are very few of these people, but I've already written that it's enough, it's worth it to write a sefer like this just to help one yid, because one yid is a precious person.
One yid is worth the entire world.
So to enlighten his eyes and to bring him to the truth. The experience shows that there are sincere people that if they learn this subject, they're taught it properly, they'll come to understand it. It's a great obligation to write a sefer like this and to speak about this subject in order to explain the truth. In front of everybody, there will be some hearts among those who sit in the Beis Medrash, like the learners, in the yeshivish world, and also people who don't learn, people in the streets. They'll have some benefit from this. Okay, and it said, I think that after the Rebbe wrote this sefer, Reb Moshe Chaim Ephraim Bloch said, "Why did you not include more proof from the history? You should have put in more." The Rebbe sometimes is meramis to the Holocaust and what the Zionists did then, and he's meramis to the history of what the Zionists did to fight against the British and to close the gates of Palestine. He has a few things in Simon Kuf Yud Aleph, but it's not the majority of the Sefer. So Reb Moshe Chaim Ephraim Bloch said, "Why don't you put more of that stuff in the Sefer?"
Is he the Telsher? Who is he?
No, unrelated to that. He's the one who wrote this, the Doiv Sifsei Yeshenim. Ever heard of that? It's that this sefer with some forged documents in it. Interesting sefer. Some of it's true, some of it's not. But anyway, so he held the Rebbe's sheet and everything, but he asked him, "Why didn't you put more historical information?" So the Rebbe said that facts are good for simple Jews. But in this case, you can't convince simple Jews that Zionism is wrong. It's like talking to the wall. The only people you can talk to are B'nai Torah. And B'nai Torah, you have to bring Torah proofs. And that's what I did. So he said, I see that it's accomplished much more than I expected. I thought it would change the minds of a few people, but now I've been receiving letter after letter from Bnei Torah saying that the Sefer lit up their eyes. That's the quote the Rebbe said after publishing Vayel Moshe. Okay, so that's what he means here, that the Koistei Beis HaMedrash, the people who learn Torah, are going to be the ones who are most likely to be convinced. Another time he said, I think, the Litvische people of Bnei Yeshivas who learn Torah and don't have a Hasidic rebbe who they follow blindly, they're the ones who are going to listen to this Sefer. But people who have a rebbe that they just do whatever the rebbe says and they don't think for themselves, they're not going to be affected by this so much.
Yeah, you write that in your book.
Yeah?
Yeah, in the Rebbe's book.
The Rebbe book.
And a few people told me that. What else do you know about because you're not Hasid. But I told her that to Rabbi Weiss and
okay. Ubefrat, and especially this is true that you have to speak about the subject because shehu inyan hanogei l'chol ikri amuna. This is not stam an aveira that you have to bring to people's attention. This is an aveira that's nogei to the entire basis, the foundations of amuna. The kiyum kol Torah kula, and it's nogei to fulfilling the whole Torah. Why? Ki kol amaisim anasim neged Torah akdosha hema stira neged amuna. First of all, in general, anything that someone does against the Torah is against the amuna. But when we call Shekain Oysta HaMedina HaZionist, this Zionist state, Shehi L'gamri Neged HaTorah HaKadoshah, which the whole state is against the Torah, when you said this Al Kfir Noirah Rahman Al-Islam, and the whole foundation of the state is denying Hashem's Hashgacha and denying the idea of Galus and Gula, She'ein Safik Shehu L'gamri Neged HaAmunah B'Hashem Yisbarach V'Torah HaKadoshah. So the state is completely against the Amunah. V'Iyavshar She'iyu Elu Shtei HaAmunahis. These two beliefs, Emunah b'Medina Zu, Emunah b'Torah K'dosha, the Emunah in the state, believing in the state and believing in the Torah, cannot coexist b'Adam Echad in one person. Ki heimo shnei hafachim l'gami, because they are two diametric opposites. V'iyavshar she'yishtamshu b'keser echad. They cannot share a crown. This is a reference, of course, to the story of the sun and the moon. They were originally created the same. And
the moon said,
"Iyavshar shnei malachim yishtamshu b'keser echad." So Hashem said, okay, I'll make you small.
Which was a good thing the moon did. That's why Klal Yisrael, therefore, Cheg was the moon, and the Gan Cheg was the sun.
Which daf is that?
Chul and Daf Samach.
It's actually a good thing, not a bad thing the moon did.
So what the nimshal is, that the moon and the sun, now the moon didn't disappear completely after this, right? It just got smaller.
Yeah.
So the Rebbe's point is, you can't have two equal things, Zionist and Emunah. They can't coexist equally. One has to be bigger than the other. So if you're going to believe to the extent that a person believes in Zionism, that's the extent that he'll believe less in the Torah. But you could have a religious Zionist, that's true. But the religious Zionist is going to be less religious because he's more Zionist, or more religious because he's less Zionist. The two things go hand in hand. They go not as opposites. They're reciprocals. Okay, so Ka'asher Yisbar Oid Behemshich Divrei HaKuntrus Bifnim. I'll explain this more inside this Sefer. So therefore, even those who lack understanding, that they think at the beginning, when they start getting into Zionism, they think, okay, it's not a steer to Torah, but in the end, they're going to come to abandon the Torah to a greater, lesser extent. The Akedah says,
who's the Akedah?
Rabbi Yitzchak Arama, about 500 years ago, the time of Spain, before the Inquisition.
Yeah.
So he said, he speaks about those who serve Hashem together with Avodah Zarah. That at first they might say, I'm going to do both. I'm going to do Hashem, I'm going to do Avodah Zarah. But then at the end, they end up just doing Avodah Zarah. It's going on Voice Chanan on the first two of the Aseres Adibris, that it says, so what's the connection? The connection is that if you say, I'm going to believe in Hashem, but I'm not going to keep the second Dibur, I'm going to have Elohim HaCherim together with Hashem, eventually you're only going to have Elohim HaCherim. And that's what he says, Yeshua said to the people that if you're going to do Avodah Zarah, it's Lo Yisuchlu La'avodas Hashem. You're not going to be able to serve Hashem too. V'chein hu asoif shel kol ha'poischim al shtei asipin. This is the end of all those who try to straddle both sides of the fence. That they try to do Avodah Zarah, they try to do Zionism, and they try to be from Yidden. In the end, they end up just being Zionists. The people they want to be part of the Medina, they want to be part of the Knesset, they want to go to the Yom HaZikaron thing and daven for the soldiers. and learn Mishnayos for them. The end is what happens. The Zionim come and take them to be soldiers. In a couple more years, they're going to come take everybody. Unfortunately, if we don't stop them. So that's the point over here. That if you start out being like on both sides of the fence, eventually you'll only be on one side of the fence.